Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Roadkill Cafe podcast. You kill it, we grill it. You can get one of our famous entrees, flat cat, or one of our awesome rack of raccoons, or you can get a side of bowl of mole. Please say hello to some of my co-chefs. Macy, put it out there.
Hello, I am Macy, and I'll be playing Eldora, the cleric, also known as the one that cleans all the dishes.
Well, now, howdy, partner. Name's Dylan. I'll be serving up your signature dish, Andrak, the reborn fighter.
Hello, my name is Becca, and I don't work here, but I am the health department, and I play Kirky.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, I'm Kevin. I'm playing Malachi, and I'm gonna be taking care of the health inspector later on, if you know what I mean. Wink.
You just hear a gun cocking in the background?
What? Oh, okay.
Violently, to clarify.
Well, something we haven't done in a while is take a quiz. So today we're going to do a quiz over trivia of the movie Shrek. Because everybody likes that movie. If you don't like it,
yeah.
You got flaws. Macy?
What's Shrek?
What?
I'm kidding. I was kidding.
Okay. Whew. I thought there was going to be domestic violence, but we're okay. Macy, name the actor who gave the voice of Shrek.
Oh shit, I don't know people.
Do you want some options?
Yeah.
Alright, here's some people that definitely fit in the category that I'm sure you'll know. Zac Efron, Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Dakota Franks, or Tyler Perry.
Franks?
Oh, I'm sorry. The answer is Mike Myers.
I'm so disappointed.
I don't not pay attention to the names.
That's okay.
I was a kid when I watched it. I didn't pay attention to the names.
Well, now you're all old and everything, so it's okay. Dylan?
Oh boy.
Which artist gave the voice of Donkey?
Eddie Murphy.
Perfect.
I knew that since I was a kid.
Ugh, that's rough. Becca?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to know this, because you're such a movie buff. Who gave the voice of Fiona?
Oh, it's Cameron Diaz.
No shit. Damn. I gotta be honest, I thought you were going to be like, who? Kevin?
I'm here.
What does Fiona turn into after sunset?
An ogre.
Macy, name the artist who gave the voice to Lord Farquaad.
Another question, please.
You know what? That seems fair because that's kind of hard, so I'm going to put that one on Dylan. He could know it. Macy, what does Shrek blow up for Fiona as a balloon?
I think it was a frog.
Dude, that's actually right. Dylan, who did the voice of Lord Farquaad?
John Lithgow.
Holy shit, how'd you know that?
I've watched Shrek like 1,000 fucking times. That's how.
Yeah.
You don't watch it 1,000 times without watching the credits at least 2 or 3.
Ironically, Shrek is one of those movies that I feel like everybody has watched 1,000 times.
It's iconic at this point.
It's a
Yeah, I kind of got stuck watching it a lot.
And, even its spin-offs are good, so...
Mm.
Honestly, I think a little bit better,
seen
but...
it, it's legendary. Hey, Becca?
Eh.
What does Fiona blow up for Shrek as a balloon?
Is it a bird?
Wait.
No, do you want to try one more?
I can't. I'm like trying to picture it, and I generally can't. Are there options?
Sure. A donkey? A lizard? A bird?
Oh, it's a snake. I dusted off the cobwebs. I got it.
Way to go. Kevin.
Hi.
No, I don't think you're going to get this because, you're all like, I don't do movies. Who is Fiona supposed to marry?
Well, she's supposed to marry Lord Farquaad,
Oh, got it.
but that's not how it really goes.
Macy, who does she marry?
Correct. I think I'm always
Okay.
correct.
It's okay. Do you want to say it again?
Shrek.
There you go. Discord caught it that time. All right. Dylan? What color is Fiona's dress?
Green.
Yeah. Becca?
Yeah.
What does Shrek say he is like?
An onion.
Ogres are like onions. That shit makes me laugh so goddamn much. They make you tear up? I'm sorry. Kevin,
Aye.
what does Donkey do when he sees Fiona as an ogre?
Oh. Damn, what does he do? I think he just starts.
Do you want some options?
He gets freaked out. He gets scared.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Get scared.
And yeah.
No, that's right.
And then he calls for Shrek. And he's all like, Shrek!
Oh no. I feel like Macy gets some of the hard ones, but we're gonna keep going. Macy, what color is Fiona's hair bow?
Green.
Holy shit. I didn't even know that. Alright. Dylan? When Fiona was going to tell Shrek her true identity, what happens?
A misunderstanding, he overhears the wrong thing. He storms off because he overhears the wrong conversation.
Dylan, that's correct. Becca.
Yeah.
Which of these characters has black hair? Fiona, Shrek, Lord Farquaad, Gingerbread Man, or Pinocchio?
Well, Lord Farquaad does, but I'm pretty sure Pinocchio does too.
I don't fucking know. It just says Lord Farquaad.
Yeah, Lord Farquaad is probably the obvious answer, but I think Pinocchio has black hair as well.
Dylan, Google it and let me know.
Pinocchio has brown hair.
Okay.
Damn. He already did. Kevin?
Yes.
What is the color of Donkey's eyes?
Oh, Donkey's eyes are brown?
That is correct.
Okay. My brain, for some reason, screamed green at first, and I was like, no brain.
A green-eyed
Everything else
donkey?
is green.
That's hot. Macy.
Yeah.
In the first Shrek movie, why does Shrek initially agree to rescue the Princess Fiona from the tower?
I'm trying to remember because I'm actually blinking on that. It was either hearing something about the reward or kind of just to be left alone.
Dylan, do you want to give her a hint?
It's the second thing she said.
It was just you want to be left alone.
Yeah, pretty much. She just wants to be left alone in his swamp.
He wants everyone to get out of his swamp.
Dylan.
Hey.
What is the shape on Shrek's bathroom door?
Crescent moon.
Damn, that
Thank
is exactly right. You have a weird memory. So good. Becca,
When it comes to weird movies, yes.
how does Donkey and Shrek get to the wedding?
I don't want to say they fly on the dragon, but I'm trying to remember.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, okay. My brain was like, no.
No, you're good. I know I'm not supposed to say that questions are correct answers, but I don't want you to go too far away from the correct answer.
Okay.
Kevin?
Hey.
Ooh, I have no idea. What color is the knight's armor?
What color is the knight's armor? Like the Farquaad Knights?
Actually, that's what I was thinking, the Castle Knights, but then isn't there also a knight and fighting the dragon or something?
Let's see. Let me think.
Uh-huh.
The knight's armor. Silver? I don't know which knight they're talking about.
Silver, correct.
Okay, cool.
Fuck it.
That's a weird question.
Yes. Macy,
See,
how many times does Shrek toss Donkey in the air? You thought yours was weird.
8?
Holy shit. No, it's 3.
Ah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more.
Really?
Is this
It
like
seems like a lot.
accumulatively over the whole film?
I actually don't know.
I think it's when Shrek's throwing him to look through the window at the wedding.
They should
Oh.
specify.
Yeah.
I actually forgot about that.
Shrek throws Donkey a lot. Donkey's kind of abused.
Yeah, but he gets to get with a dragon, so who really won?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, he does win. Dylan,
Oh boy.
who does Shrek like?
In what sense?
Who does he want to get down and dirty with?
Oh,
Like
Fiona.
sweet green love. Yes.
Because like that is a very odd question. Very vague.
It's a little vague. Becca.
Yeah.
In the movie Shrek, what is the unique feature about the conditions set for Princess Fiona's curse to be broken? Fuck.
It's true love's kiss, isn't it?
It actually has a specific time. Bonus points if you can get it.
Oh, it's at sunset.
There you go. You get bonus points, whatever that is.
Woo!
Don't make her a cookie.
Poisonous or no?
Poisonous, for sure. Doesn't hurt her. Kevin? Who does Fiona kiss?
Shrek.
Yes.
Sorry, I was going through the movie. I was like, is it the second one where she kisses the wrong person first? Yeah, I think that's the second one.
Ooh. Spoiler alert. Jeez. You know what? This one's for everybody. This is the last one. You guys can vote on who you think it is. Who is fighting with Snow White for the flowers?
The burly bar person.
Bar
The bar
person.
girl.
Uh,
I can't remember her name.
part of me wants to also say the wolf, but I could be wrong about that too.
Dylan? Becca?
What are the options, or is there any?
I've just actually been making it up. Like, I can name some if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna go with
I don't remember them fighting for flowers. I just see the answer.
Pinocchio?
I will go with Pinocchio because that's the funniest answer. This might be the
have
only
to
one I
agree,
get
like
wrong.
that. Becca? It's gone.
The only one I can think of is dragon, because that's who ends up with it at the end. But I know that's not correct.
That's when they fight for the flowers. Okay. I'm there now. I know. I'm good. Alright, so we got Dragon, 2 for Pinocchio, and Kevin, what was yours?
The big bad wolf.
Big Bad Wolf. Okay. Well, it was Cinderella, but you were all really close.
Pinocchio would have been funnier.
I don't even
That-
remember
Unplanned.
Cinderella being in that story.
Cinderella was as a minor character.
Everybody's in this story. Well, you know what?
I don't wanna.
That's fair.
Hi, my name is Dylan. You're listening to the Dungeon Speak podcast.
Last time we played some D&D on this podcast, the champions came across the Aegean Sea and met up with Eldora in the midst of battle. They all traveled south and through a familiar city, Delphi. There, they fought and killed Delphine, the original inhabitant that Apollo defeated and imprisoned many millennia ago. The champions, armed with dragon stakes thanks to Andrak, headed east and then north. Along the mountains, they found a group of humans and a water nymph named Pallas that was fleeing out of a cave. The group ventured into the cave, killing the demon, and a lot of info dump was dropped. Pallas told the party she was pursuing the creature for information. The party found a map, notes on various people, including a few gods, and a statue hand with the orb of Demeter inside its palm. They then headed east to a spot on the map, and that is where we pick up. You guys were a few hundred feet from this camp area, and the camp itself was at the base of a mountain and kind of stretched out before it, but it wasn't an organized camp. Like, I don't want you to get it confused with anything that makes sense. The big difference between demons and devils is that there is no organization to them. They're a lot more like animals than anything else. They're very animalistic, just with some human thoughts or intelligent thoughts, just not them. So I'm going to kind of go from the left to the right, saying what you guys can see. So I'm going to describe this. Andrak and Kiriki, you guys can ask follow-up questions if you want. Kiriki, you might not get
the exact answers you want. And then if you guys want, you can look around, try to get around and see things from a different perspective. But you've kind of already rolled perception. So anything that I tell you to see, like from here, that's it until you do something different. But because Andrak rolled a 25 on perception, then he can pretty much ask whatever he wants and I'll give him the answer. But you guys can feel free to be like, hey, don't forget to ask about this, or hey, what about this? So from the left to the right, against the mountain itself, there is kind of this hilly ramp that comes down into the camp itself. There is these gray-skinned creatures that you guys ran into whenever you first met Outdora after landing on this side of the Aegean Sea. They have white hair coming off their head and going down their back, comes off their shoulders. They are very large. They have two very large arms, and then underneath those arms, they have another set of arms that are smaller, more of a human size. But these ones, unlike the other ones, are glowing kind of a purple. Their smaller hands are. And these ones, they're tall. They're about 7 to 8 feet tall on average. They have long claws. They have taloned feet. They have very sharp teeth that kind of comes out in a snout. They have pointy ears that come out to the side. They have some spikes just randomly growing around them. They are on either side of this ramp that comes down. There's one decently close to you guys on your side of the camp against some trees that just a small group of trees that's at the base of the mountains. The trees are between this little gray creature and the ramp itself. And then between the trees and the ramp itself, probably about 50 feet behind the trees, is a very large group of sleeping creatures. They're white-skinned. They look kind of a slimy color. And they have, well, I guess you don't know because they're sleeping, but they have red eyes. And you can see there's other one of these things walking around the camp, just kind of randomly. They also have the white skin, but they're covered in flame. So you think that maybe because these are sleeping, they're not covered in flame, or maybe they're different. Who knows? But there is one at the base of the ramp, and it is dragging a dead one of its kind up the ramp itself. And I will tell you more about that in a little bit. We hit on that at the very end of the last episode. So behind the ramp, there's a couple more of these little white creatures, a couple more groups of trees along the base of the mountain, 30, 40 feet apart. There's another one of these gray creatures on the very far side of the camp. Going a little bit left from there, there's a palisade that seems to have a pit in the middle of it. And the palisade is making a circle. There is a pier that overlooks this palisade, or overlooks this pit, that has blood and bones inside of it. And then there's a staircase across from the deck that goes into the pit itself. To the left of that, coming a little bit closer, about 30 feet closer, there is a cage. And inside this cage, there are creatures. There are 2 hydras, a minotaur, a griffin, a manicore, and I can't remember if y'all knowledge checked to know what the woman is. Did y'all find out what she is?
Andrak did.
Andrak? Okay. She is what's known as a harpy. For those who don't know, she is a human woman, but has eagle wings, eagle talons. Both her hands and her feet. Her hands are made out of eagle talons, so she does have 4 fingers, but they're quite sharp. The manticore, I don't think that's come up before, so I'm going to explain what that looks like real quick. It is a lion's body with a human head, and it has large black leathery wings, almost like the she-serpent, Delphine. Minotaur, that's come up a few times, so you guys know what that is. Hydra, I don't think anybody knows what those are, because they're in no stories ever. One had 4 heads, one had 5. Other than that, it's a regular Hydra. But you do think that these might be younger Hydra, because A, they don't have that many heads, and B, they were able to be captured and fit inside this cage. Which means the cage isn't exactly small, but it's not big enough to fit anything that would be a normal Hydra. This cage is circular, but it's maybe 30 feet wide. So not that big, but they are all squished in there together. You can't really tell if they're getting along, but if you want to walk up and be like, hey, are y'all friends? Then, feel free to do that. So behind the cage, further out, more towards the other side of the camp itself, 100 feet away from this cage, is another one of those great creatures walking around. A few more groups of trees. To the right of that, you can see a cage. It's got dozens of men in it. It's about 30 feet wide. This one's made of iron. To the right of that, kind of going closer to you guys, there's another cage. This one looks more of wooden, not quite as long, but still decently big. There's a couple of people in there, a couple of figures. You can't really tell that much about them. And there's a couple of those little white guys sitting outside of it, just kind of like looking in. There's one on the back side of it, two on the front, and then there's like a little campfire outside of it. There's also a campfire outside the one filled with men also. So closer to you guys from the wooden cage is what looks like ruins of maybe the only building that was actually in this area originally. It's missing 3 of its walls, but one of them are still there in a bit of the corner. And you can see a lot of the people are huddled up in that corner specifically. This one is just women. You see there are no bars. There is 2 of these little white fire creatures. This one on either side of it. And then there's like a little campfire inside the ruins itself that you can see a few people huddled around. The abandoned building itself is about 50 feet wide and I don't know, 55, 50, 60 feet long. Again, there's more of the little white fiery creatures roaming around. There's a couple of the gray guys. So closer to you, behind kind of this ruined building that is out of the view of the people, is a very large pit. It is about 75, 80 feet long, and it's about 30 feet wide, and it is filled. It's filled with corpses, corpses of people, these creatures, animals. They're torn apart. There's bones. There's pieces of limbs, pieces of skin, pieces of muscle. I mean, it's just gross, and there's just blood all in this pit, along with body parts of all kinds of different creatures. And then beside it is a 10-foot high pile of sandals. And that's it. There's just sandals. That's all there is in that pile. It's very tall. Altogether, there is 8 of these gray-skinned creatures with the white hair coming back and the little glowing purple arms. And then the white creatures, there are 11 of those, minus the pile of sleeping things. So at the very end of the last episode, you saw this very large creature come out of a cave that was at the very top of this ramp. And he kind of roared out. And when he did that, 2 of the white creatures that are on fire, they started immediately fighting each other. And then one of them killed the other one. And then that one started dragging the corpse of the one it killed up the ramp towards this creature who went back into the cave. He was very broad, very tall. If you could guesstimate, Andrak or Kiriki with your high perceptions, I would say you guys would notice that he was easily 20 feet tall. His head kind of hunched down in front of him, like he doesn't have a neck. He has spikes coming up his back. He did wear some armor, but not a lot. He had kind of scaly skin, almost like a crocodile, and he had 6 glowing blue eyes and a very large mouth with very large fangs. He did have ram horns that kind of run parallel to his head and kind of curled under to go into his chest a little bit. But that was it as far as he goes. So he's not a very horny creature, not like a lot of the big demons you've seen before. Couple more things I guess I could say is that you guys notice that the cave might have been somewhat dug out, so you can see some rocks up the mountain a little bit, kind of placed up there just randomly or loose a little bit. Do you have any questions, I guess?
The big one's in the cave now?
Yeah, it walked back into the cave after roaring, and the
Okay.
white one, or the flame guy killed the other and is dragging the corpse up. And that one, so he walked back in.
Okay.
Do the rocks that are up the hill look big enough to block the cave entrance if we were to roll them down there?
You think that rolling it down, because it's at the top of a ramp, you don't think that would work unless you were able to direct the rocks really well or purposely place them there. And they look pretty heavy.
Gotcha.
So you probably not. Andrak, maybe. But if he fails, that would hurt.
He'll be fine.
Hmm.
What's the worst that'll happen? He dies?
I mean, technically, yes.
Andrak's kind of just looking out across the scene. There's a lot of them here.
Do you see any potential ingress? Somewhere we could start?
I hate to say it, but releasing the monsters from their cage would probably be the best start. It could cause a distraction.
There's no guarantee that those monsters aren't going to just attack us as soon as we get in there.
That is if they see you, or whoever releases them.
What
If
time?
we-
What time of the day is it, Todd? Right now?
It's roughly 5 o'clock. Like, you think if you hurry up here, you can make it home in time to catch MacGyver.
Okay.
Wait, does that mean Stargate's off already?
Stargate hasn't started yet. We jumped back to the 1980s all of a sudden. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
It's on TNT also. I have no idea if that's still around.
I don't think we have that channel. Shit. Malachi, you need to splurge and get us the nicer channels.
I don't have that much money. It's a costly monthly subscription. I try to stay away from those.
Smart.
Next you'll say we can't get McDonald's on the way home.
Oh, hate to be that guy, but
Why can't we have McDonald's on the way home?
we've got McDonald's at home.
No, we
Hey,
do not.
TNT is still going. I'm happy.
All
right.
Malachi would say to Andrak, I only possess the ability to remain in the shadows, so if we were to try and wait for nightfall, I might be capable of slipping in somewhat unnoticed, but I can't move very quickly in that state, so we're looking for stealth. I can only do
I would
so
not be able
much.
to see during the night.
Well, I mean, same, but hopefully some of the bonfires they've got out there would provide at least a little bit of light in the area.
From what we can tell, these creatures can see within the dark. I would not want to give them the upper hand.
Yeah, let me touch on that real quick. So you see bonfires specifically at the abandoned ruins and by each cage, and then a couple by where the people are, but none towards the pit or towards the cave itself. So it looks like they are for the humans. So there are none closer to where the big guy was.
If we're looking at getting these people out, I think you're right. We'll have to cause some kind of distraction to draw them away from the other places where the humans are. But I don't know. I'm wary about releasing the monsters because, I mean, what's to stop them from just going out into the world and causing more havoc once they're freed?
I still believe it would be a preferable outcome than these dark creatures. We've seen the havoc they cause. A few Hydra this young, a Minotaur and a Harpy, would be less problematic.
There's also the problem of whatever that thing is in that cave. You have to remember they got these creatures here somehow, which means that at least something around here is probably powerful enough to contain those creatures.
My concern would be getting the people out. Dealing with it would be next. The distraction would be just to get the people out. Then we can do an assault. Whatever the monsters kill, if they are killed afterwards, that is not our concern.
Fair enough.
If we release them, they cause a distraction to get the people out first. After the people are a safe distance away, we can make an assault ourselves. If the monsters have cleared the camp, which is doubtful with the numbers, then we can just leave. If not, I'm sure we can handle it.
Worse battle plans, but I think that is what we have to do, and about as much as we have to deal with. Which means we should probably start at the ruins where the women are being kept. It seems less fortified and easier to sneak people away through past that giant pit of bones.
So, from what I'm hearing at the moment, it is that we are freeing the people. And do we try to take them away from everything, see if we can all slip out? Or
He'll look to Malachi and Aldora. If the monsters are not enough of a distraction, Kiriki has shown the ability to transport people, like herself and others. If we need to, me and her can take up the fight, and when we know the people are safe, we could get removed temporarily.
would the
Okay.
monsters take our side?
That is not the concern. They have been imprisoned by these dark creatures. They would probably relish the chance to fight back.
Well,
Discordant
if
chaos is better than relying on guesses.
so, we hope that they can cause distraction just long enough for us to free the people.
Yes.
That would be the idea.
Well, if worse comes to worse and we can't manage to escape, I might be able to help in other ways if we are forced to fight at least.
The ability also to transport at a moment's notice, not as far as Kiriki was shown to do, but if worse comes to worse, gather near me and I will at least take one of you with me.
Alright.
Either way, we need to decide who's going to be sneaking up there to release the cage of animals or creatures.
I can do that, no problem.
We have a volunteer.
I believe of any of us, Kiriki probably would be the one to be able to do that. Plus, she can see in the dark if we wanted to wait until then.
The day is better.
Good point. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, not all of you can see in the dark. The better advantages we have, the better it is.
So, as far as I understand the plan, just so we're clear, Kiriki goes to release the monsters, and while they're distracting these creatures away from the people, hopefully, we slip in, undo their binds and cages, let them free, and then, ideally, escape with them and come back to clean up later.
That would be the best idea for us. As long as the people are safe, then we are good. I do not want to drag innocents into this. They've already been dragged far enough.
Okay.
The current vantage point we have is good for viewing, but it is not optimal for, well, doing, I guess, is a horrible way to put it, but a way to put it.
We have that one creature down below the bottom of this hill. It's going to be the first problem we'll encounter, but Kiriki, you might be able to slip past the trees there. Go unnoticed by him. If we can get past him, it looks like you might have a straight shot. There's just a few more.
Kiriki, you have shown the ability to transport individuals before.
I can do up to 10,
How often can you do it?
3 times. But I am included in that 10, so roughly 9 each time. Why?
I do not think transporting the people that way is going to be the best option. But getting behind the cage that the people are in would be better for us.
I don't understand why we're trying to go out of our way to save so few people. It's best to let this herd fight out rather than trying to risk our necks saving, 60 people?
If you need a different motivation, perhaps instead of thinking about saving people, you could think about crippling an operation of these creatures. Whatever they're doing here, it obviously has a purpose, and if we interrupt that, we'll have set them back.
That's what I am thinking. If we allow these monsters to just fight it out, we wait instead of using our resources to go down there and save people. If they are casualties in the fight between the monsters and these creatures, then they are casualties.
That is where I will have to disagree with you. The people have nothing to do with this. They are just pawns in a game that these monsters have.
And going down there to rescue them risk our lives. I like a fight, but I know when to hold back and allow other alternatives to work. If we go down there, get caught trying to rescue them, we are putting ourselves in danger when we could essentially wait out the massacre. If they kill the people, then they kill them. There are other people waiting in other cities. Imagine if we die fighting here and unable to cripple other places. It doesn't make any sense.
We will not die here. At least you will not.
If nothing else, a tactical retreat is always possible. If the fight is lost, then we fall back. What we can do is what we should do. But if we cannot succeed, there is no shame in retreating and falling back to try again in a different place.
All right.
There is no sense in retreating from a battle before you even try to fight it.
I'm not
Well,
retreating.
We can't
Right.
just give up on these people, though. It wouldn't be right, and they have a life too. They have a life to live still. And if we can give them that opportunity again, I'd like to. No one is deserving of this. If you
Okay.
put it that way.
All
Then-
I ask is you release the monsters. You do not have to help get the people out.
If it comes down to our lives over these people's, I will always choose myself in order to help fight against this. There are more people elsewhere. There aren't more of us. Or it feels that way.
Do what you believe is right.
I tend to.
If we do this, I recommend an escape plan.
It's already been established that you can teleport people. Up to 9 others, including yourself, 10. So,
And
you can...
I will prioritize teleporting us.
Correct.
That is fine.
So, if things go sour, you get as many people from our party that are as close to you, and we evacuate. That is our escape plan. If you cannot get me, don't worry about it. I can also teleport myself away, but...
Then I will prioritize Andrak and Eldora.
Yes.
Specifically Eldora.
If I have to fight through an army of these dark creatures, I will.
We can retrieve a corpse later. We need the one who can bring the corpse back.
Well, that got dark.
No matter what happens, I tend to agree with Eldora. So far, all we've found throughout this entire country is ruins, death, and destruction. We have a chance to actually save lives today, and, well, it's not usually in my line of work to save lives. It would be very good to see something live through this hell.
I felt my goddess trying to save people. This time I can save people. So if there even is that small chance, I have to try.
Ugh. This is why I travel alone most times. There isn't a
If the
council to
fight-
argue with.
If the fight gets bad, nobody here will blame you for leaving Kiriki.
But I will blame you for fighting to the death if you want to.
I think you guys aren't looking at the bigger picture. If we die fighting here, then we know of the other encampments. If the other encampments spread, you're thinking of this small place, these people here. But think about where we came from before we reached this land. Do you remember Troy? Full of people. What if the demons sail across the sea and take that city too?
And that's why we have to stop them as much as we can.
The relevance is not lost on me, Kiriki. I do not intend to die here today, and I do not intend to stop at this camp. But I also cannot ignore the circumstances in front of us, and I will act upon them. Even if the bigger picture is something to strive for, we have to fight the little fights along the way, or else it's all for naught. A war is not won in big battles. A war is won in attrition. I'm ready to go when you are.
Looking through my character sheet. Oh, okay. I had to look for something important.
So, I just want to recap real quick.
Yar.
Y'all's idea is to go down there, have her unlock the cage, and be, hang on, 200 feet away from you. And then you somehow, after the cage is unlocked, move up to the middle of this lit camp in daylight, and then release everybody while everybody's in combat near that spot.
Which side is the cage door on this cage of monsters?
You actually don't see one.
Ah, fuck.
So I said before that because your perception was so high that you could ask any question and I would answer it, and there you go. You do not see one. But it is a round cage and you can only see one side of it, so...
The idea wasn't to have her go up alone. That's why I was asking about the teleportation, how many times she can do it. How far is the range on that teleportation?
It's teleport.
So it's like miles and miles,
Stupid.
right?
It's the plane.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world. She could fuck off back to Troy if she wanted to.
Because the idea was if we can teleport to like the tree line or somewhere behind the cage of people, we'll be closer to her. We just need to get the people. Like the whole idea is to get the people out of combat so that they're safe after releasing the monsters. Because the monsters can cause a distraction while the demons are like, oh shit, monsters, and they're trying to fight that. Somebody else can unlock the cage of people, specifically like Eldora or Malachi, and start running off with the people.
Malachi has once a day dimension door, so he's probably going to save that for if we need to buck it out of there quick, but that is another tool in my shed, if you know what I mean.
So, the women I could see, because the abandoned building is roughly 60 feet away from the monster's cage, but the one with the men in it is about 20 feet away. So if you release them, they'd be pretty much in the fray, and you'd be risking their lives more than they were in the cage.
I think they're safer in the cage.
Okay, so there are people in the building.
The stratagem might actually be closer to releasing the monsters, seeing how much damage and mayhem it causes, and then deciding whether or not we can afford to sweep in and rescue people.
If I may get an opinion, I agree with that wholeheartedly, because I know a normal citizen's hit points, if there's collateral damage, they will all just straight die. If there is one breath weapon used, that's dead people.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys, sure, you can take a hit and you'll be like, ha ha ha. But these guys, no. If somebody drops a bottle of wine and it spills, tears flow. Like they can't take the damage.
But yeah, I think get like the whole group being over on that side so that if Kiriki gets caught, at least Andrak can run in and start fighting shit too.
You just want to be within range so you can get into combat a lot quicker.
Yeah, Andrak specifically. Like, Eldora and Malachi can stay behind, but if Kiriki gets caught and fight breaks out on her, having, the big man able to start running up would be a good idea.
Let's not forget we also have Palace, and there's also Athan, so let's also keep that in mind.
But yes, if Kiriki gets caught releasing the monsters, then it would be a good idea to have Andrak at least keep the guard on her, just so that she can teleport herself out after releasing them. But that would be the only thing I want to make sure is, if combat breaks out on her, she is safe enough to get herself out at the minimum.
Kiriki is able to escape without a problem, though. I wouldn't need backup. She has the ability to just leave.
Yeah, but he would want to make sure if you get stuck, you aren't caught. He doesn't know all of your capabilities, so that's his in-character. He would not want to leave a person
You are talking about her abilities in character, so yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know how long teleport takes.
Don't let your character die for no dumb reason, Dylan. Stop it.
That's if you can kill him.
Jesus Christ.
Don't trust.
So what is the goal? What is the game here? What are we doing? Are we trying to get closer in first? Or are we going to let Kiriki go ahead and try and do what she can, and then if she gets caught in a pickle, she can just poof away and we readdress later? Like, what's the deal?
I think that is a good idea, just to let her try to release the monsters first.
Release the monsters, see if she can even get in there. Because, we're playing with dice, so ultimately there is a possibility on the table of her not even making it to the monster cage before shit goes sideways, so...
Yeah.
I think that is the safest option, and although we are... So I would say we have a one-time teleport with me, and I could take one other person with me up to 500 feet away. And then Kiriki can take up to 10 people away as well if things go sour. But in terms of getting in there quickly, it's going to take 2, maybe even 3 rounds for us to get into the center of this camp if we spent 3 actions just sprinting.
And you are definitely not getting Andrak in there unseen. He's the only one who has disadvantage on stealth.
We could try and get a little bit closer, see if we can get at least down this hill and like maybe around the side of. I think actually, honestly, we should start this on the bottom half of the pit of bodies, probably towards the southwest, rather than up on this mountainside. If we can loop around, maybe spend like an extra 30 minutes or whatever getting in position down there first. That's a lot less to deal with through there. And it's closer to the ruined building with the women in it, so we can try and get them first, since they're not locked in a cage.
Yeah, I think being on the other side would be more beneficial, especially since we'd be able to get a vantage point on that cage, see if there's even a door on it. Because that's the one thing we don't know is there a door?
Cookie, how long does your invisibility last?
Oh, how did you even know about that? How did you
You've
know?
been talking about it.
Did I say invisibility? I don't think I talked
No, that
about
was
it.
I think you said it
Malachi's.
last time we played.
Oh, okay. Invisibility, it's the invisibility spell, so it's whatever how long that is. I think it's an hour, but I'm pulling up the spell now
Holy
to remind
Jesus.
myself. It is...
So she could just roam
1 hour.
around taking notes.
Okay, so there's a fairly good chance that Kiriki can actually get in there without being spotted.
Oh yeah, definitely that.
I mean, and how long? I mean, you could probably get in and assess the cage itself, and then come back if there's no way to open it perceivably.
I do... We're sitting up on a hill, like, looking at the battlefield, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to roll a history on the monsters in the cage. I don't remember if I did this last session or not. About...
I think... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I want to see if they'll prioritize hunting the things they can see animalistically, or if they will go after the easy prey in the cage.
Ooh.
Because, in my mind, okay, Giriki is scanning the battlefield.
Mhm.
She's quite intelligent. She's looking at all the monsters.
Mhm.
I'm surmising that they are obviously caught these people for a reason. If we release the monsters, they'll probably do their best to protect the people. Maybe not the men in the cage, but possibly the people in the house. That is my thoughts. And I want to see, I want to roll that history check to see if they'll go after the people in the cage, or if they'll go after the humans, or if they'll go after what they see directly.
Okay.
Because that's like my only thought process. Okay. History or Arcana? Let's do history.
If you roll Arcana, it will almost not help you at all.
Okay. 16.
A 16? I mean, you don't need a high roll to know that these monsters will not prioritize the humans in any way. Even if they were hungry, there's very high threats around them. There's things on fire, there's things brandishing weapons. These humans are locked in large cages that they can't lift. Like the griffin, he can't talon up one of these cages and take off with it and be like, hey, I have meal for a year. Like, no, I mean, they can't get into it. And then there's a lot of these fiery creatures between the women in the building and the monsters in there. And you think that the monsters couldn't get to the building before these creatures got to the monsters. So the monsters going after the humans specifically is just out of the realm of what they would do unless they dominated the demons and just killed them all very quickly. And then they were like, all right, humans, it's time for dinner. Which is how minotaurs sound
They're
historically.
southern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So I'm relaying that information to the party.
Mhm.
I say we just release the monsters.
Yeah,
Allow
that's
them to thin out the demons. The demons will probably, and this is all probably, protect the people. Now, the men in the cage will probably be casualties to, I don't know, a hydra breathing acid, if I remember that correctly.
Yes, they breathe acid.
Right, okay. Becca's brain died.
I
That
didn't
is an
know that.
assumption that I'm going to let you have.
But if we can get them to weed out as much as possible, maybe it'll also help the people.
Yes, I believe that is the plan currently.
Sounds like the strongest chance for any of this turning out our way.
I understand that that's not the most ideal thing for you, Aldora. But if we, looking at this battlefield, I don't know. I don't see a way of rescuing the people without more casualties than leaving them locked up.
Casualties are not
Preferable.
avoidable in every conflict. What happens, happens, but we can only do the best that we can to provide safety. If some of them die, then some of them die. We can't save everyone. We can only do our best to get out what we can. This is the soundest strategy, though. Perhaps we just see what happens. As much as I hate to admit it, I think Kiriki has a fair point in that we do have to survive. We do have other battles to face here.
We can try, though.
Kiriki, it's up to you. We're wishing you luck.
Where are we on the map? Okay, I see us now.
So where you are on the map is just so you can see, because I guess you have to have tokens down in order to fucking see the map, which is stupid, but whatever. So you are not actually there. You're about 300 feet to the west of what you see on the map. So you're about 300 feet away from the camp itself. So you will have to pass the gray guy. And now that you guys have been sitting there for about an hour discussing all this, you can tell that the gray guys, the large ones on the outside of the camp, they do walk around. They look around. They'll pick up random stuff and sniff, just kind of looking. And it looks like they are looking out for intruders. The white ones on the inside of the camp mostly stand there. Every now and then, you'll see them jump up and flame themselves up, scaring the people in the cages. But Kiriki, you are aware, specifically, that they are doing it for their own amusement. And they're not actually meaning any harm. They're just giving themselves a laugh a little bit. And the ones in the cage will every now and then growl at each other, maybe do a slight swipe, but not actually harm each other. They mostly just kind of stick to the outside of the cage. You see they're avoiding the middle of it. And the two gray guys on the either side of the ramp are the only ones who do not move. But all the rest of them kind of walk around. The white guys on fire stay.
All right. I guess it's time to move in.
Yeah. Since we're 500 feet to the west, we can move in probably lower. Where do we want to start? On the left side of this map, I suppose.
Well, don't move your tokens. Because like I said, you're not actually right there where your tokens are.
Right,
So
yeah.
just say theory of the mind, how far you want to get. Unless you're like, I want to get 20 feet from that guy in the gray. Then roll stealth checks.
I want to be on top of the guy in gray, but he hasn't noticed me yet.
He hasn't. So as you're walking up, you do see he looks around and then like pulls from behind his back from out of nowhere. He has like a Playboy magazine. And he lets it drop down. You see tieflings. And he's like, oh, yeah. Ooh,
Andrak is
mama.
just casually Gary's mod posing above his head.
I think it would be best to start about maybe like 100 feet, probably on the other side of the body pit, since there seems to be less patrols in that area. We could probably have a better chance of sneaking in that side.
The delicious, delicious body pit.
Are you talking about the pit with the bones or the pit with the bodies?
The pit with the bones, like the 80-foot long
Okay,
one.
so you want to go all the way around the camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be Malachi's thought, is that has the least amount of creatures patrolling it in that area, as well as, like, if a worst case scenario were to happen, we could, don't jump into the pit and try and have a better chance at stealthing with the dead bodies in there.
You mean you would?
Yeah.
Well, there's no
Andrak
dead
and
bot.
Elmore are shiny.
It's just bones, right? But,
Yeah.
It's also probably a pit, so it's a little bit lower to the ground. So, you could jump in there, lay down, and maybe
Go in there and I'll tell you the dimensions. Hop in.
But yeah, that's my plan. You guys weigh in how you'd like. Without a teleportation, I think it would take too long to get to the complete other side of the camp.
Yeah, probably.
Because by then it'll probably be the sun will be setting and we'll be at a disadvantage all night long.
Alright, well, I'm on board with. Wait, Kevin, are we talking about the pit on the left or the right of the map?
The left one, the super long one with all the bones in it. The
Wait,
pile of sandals above it.
So this one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
I think
Was
I thought
Toku's
you were-
almost enemy?
bones.
yeah, I thought you were talking about the big one with the palisade around it.
Oh no!
The bone, the
Oh.
body.
The mass
Okay.
grave, yes, because we're already coming from the west, so we could just go a little bit south and then tuck in through there. There's less of a chance. There's less patrols there. There's only 2 other guys that we can see over on that side, and they're both not close to that pit.
So, I will say, and this is mostly because Malachi has a history of being gross, that pit would actually hide y'all's scent. Like I said, you see him picking stuff up and smelling it every now and then, so they do smell to see if there are intruders also. But
Yes.
even if there was a wind or something, he would probably not smell you over the smell of that pit.
Yeah, and that's why I said that if worst came to worst, we could just dive in there and stealth check inside the body pit because like, has anybody ever seen the movie Behind Enemy Lines?
Yes.
Yeah, think that.
Any self-respecting person has seen that movie.
I have not.
I know.
I
Walking
watched
Dead.
a lot of war movies growing up.
It's got Owen Wilson in it, and there's a part in that movie where he
forgot about
escapes enemies by literally just jumping into a mass grave and covering himself in dead people mud, and it's the most hard freaking scene in a movie I've ever seen.
I just realized I was thinking of the wrong movie, but I'm with you now.
Yeah.
I was thinking
I
of
know.
Enemy at the Gate.
Oh yeah,
I've also seen that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
Also,
don't
a
like
lot
war
of dead
movies.
bodies.
They're kind of boring.
Whoa, they're sad.
Yeah.
I haven't
but
seen
they're
that
also
one either.
Boring as fuck though.
Jesus, Becca.
Yeah.
All right. But yes, I agree. Because I was thinking Kevin was talking about this one, but then it was like bones. I'm like, but that's the one with bones. Going to the right. But
Yeah.
no, I agree with the body pit because that
Yeah.
is a good vantage point.
it's closest to the ruined building. If Kiriki can get the monsters out and all those little dudes go running out over that direction, we've got a pretty much straight shot to get at least the women out.
Yep,
All right,
I'm on board with this plan.
are you ready to raise the blood pressure here?
Just
I don't
I'm
have
turning
blood.
turning on my orchestral battle music now, boss.
I have
Alright.
replaced my blood with Mountain Dew.
Oh.
Nice.
Like just Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew Kickstarter?
Mountain Dew code red currently, just so
God.
people aren't so concerned.
I'm more concerned.
I was gonna do voltage, but then people would think I'm a lizard.
I've never had that.
Voltage is my favorite flavor. I banish you.
Oh, wow.
Dylan, I have to
Fair
tell
enough.
you something. I already thought you were a lizard, so
Ah.
No, I like the cold.
Kiriki,
yeah,
do you want to cast invisibility?
I do. Before she does, when we get closer to the body pit, Kiriki is gonna like drop down and like roll around in the dirt a little bit
Sorry.
to get more of this environment smell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite odd to watch this 6 foot almost like roll around and like smear dirt all over herself. And then, oh gosh, invisibility is a 2nd level spell.
You guys are 100 feet out. Kiriki, are you going from the southwest of this camp also, or are you wanting to go from more of the west?
You guys say directions as if I know these things.
The bottom left of the map, or more just the left of the map?
Probably the bottom of like where the bottom left, like
Okay.
under the body pit and around the buildings.
That's which way they were going, but Kiriki tends to do her own thing, so I was like, let me ask, just in case.
Yeah, well, Kiriki's gonna keep going past them
Okay.
towards the beast.
As...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was about to say, as like we get closer, Kiriki will like take one of her scimitars like partially out and like prick one of her fingers and like pull her mask up and smear on her forehead like a rune
Mm-hmm.
and whisper in a language, and then she will vanish.
Does Kiriki speak Abyssal?
Kiriki does not speak Abyssal. Kiriki speaks 2 languages, and
Great.
it's not Abyssal.
That's fine. Okay, so could you please roll stealth with advantage?
27.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you just kind of roam around. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit at a time. Do you want to go? I gotta use north and south. I'm sorry. North is up, south is down. There you go. Do you want to go on the north side of the ruins that seem to only have women in it, or do you want to go on the south side of it?
I want to go down which side did we see that didn't have the door? It was the
north
side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to go south.
Yeah, I want to go south.
Okay, so as you pass the ruins, you can see that there are only women in there, like what was suspected before. You see roughly 40 females in there. You can see a broken altar. Like, that thing doesn't look like it was broken with age. It looks like it was demolished out of anger. Inside there, like I said before, you can see like a little campfire with a few women around it. There are some pillars in there that look like they're still standing, but most of them were knocked down. A lot of the walls desecrated, damaged. You think this might have been a temple of some kind that was just devastation from a demon. Like, that's it. There's a small campfire on the side of the building that you're on, and there is a demon made of fire by it, and it doesn't notice you in the least fucking bit. Even if you walked by and blew out its hair, it wouldn't notice you. It just kind of pat its head and go, "Hey, who blew out my hair?" So as you go past that, and you go on the south side of the cage that was in the middle of the ruined building and the cage with the men in it, you see there are two of these little fiery demons on the north side of it, with a campfire in between them, and then on the south side of it, there is one of these tall gray things. So a couple things about the cage with the cage in the middle. It's made out of wood, where the one on the right ahead of you is made out of metal, the one with all the men in it. So the wooden one has like a haystack with makeshift bedding in it. And there's one man and one woman. There's one man and one woman in there, and they are both naked. Naked as the day they were born. You can see everything about them. And the demons are just staring at them. And both of them are on the cage wall with a kind of door in between them, but it looks like it's chained up. And they're grabbing the wood bars of this thing, and the man is shaking it, and the woman's crying, and they're both saying like, "Let us out, let us out." And the man's like, "Yeah, I'll kill you." Ah. And you think he would die if he tried. Easily. But to the right of that, about 30 feet, is where you can see the metal cage, and there are a lot more men in there than there should be. Like, they're packed in there. There's roughly around 30 of them in there, you think. However, as you walk through between the wooden cage and the metal cage, you do see a small archway door, roughly 7 feet high, that's on this round cage. As you get close to it, you see a couple of the creatures raise their heads, and they're looking around, like they sense you, but they don't see or smell you directly. You do see... What's your passive perception?
Not great.
Okay, are you looking
11.
around as you walk?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out. She's
Alright.
not perceptive, but she's done these. She wouldn't just walk in an enemy encampment without keeping an eye out.
That sounds like a good idea. Do you want to roll perception, or you just want to play a guessing game?
I'll roll perception.
Okay.
It
You
could be good.
Roll the dice.
It's a 12.
It's a 12! You see
Better
one
than my
more
best.
thing than you wouldn't have. There's a rock in front of you. Watch out. So when I said that you see them avoiding the center of this circular cage, you do see a large glyph in the middle of it, and it seems to be red and slightly pulsing. You think if it was dark, you would see it clearly, but in the sunlight, you can just barely see it. And then the fiery demon that's about 5 to 10 feet from the cage on your left as you approach, he has like a smooth rock in his hand with a glyph in the rock, and he's looking at them all, just smiling. This dude's roughly 4 to 5 feet high. He's just got this rock in his hand, and he's just giddy as can be.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can determine what that is?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me have it up because you have a good Arcana.
Oh, natural 20 for a 28.
A 28. So you've never really seen it used in this way, but it's not beyond the means to say that they use magic differently than you guys. The closest you could kind of put it towards anything is there's some kind of permanent glyph of like a fireball or something like that in the middle of his cage. And that if he was to activate it using that stone, then it would light that cage up.
Got it. Is there any way that I can disrupt the glyph without setting it off?
From invisibility?
Just what, from my knowledge check with Arcana, is there anything I can get from being able to set it off without, or getting it, to get rid of it without setting it off?
I mean, you could just take it from him.
I could.
You could dispel the stone. You could dispel the glyph on the floor. You could try to destroy the glyph on the stone. But depending on how powerful the caster was, it depends on how easy that is.
So the cage itself is open, or is it closed?
It's closed.
Oh, okay.
It's roughly 30 feet high, 30 feet wide. It's kind of like a giant bird cage, kind of. Think of it that way. But iron and full of monsters from mythology.
Alright. I'm not gonna unlock the door. I'm gonna actually head back to the group.
Alrighty.
I want to go up to, right behind, Aldora and them. And, you might have to change our plan. And she's still invisible.
Oh,
What
okay.
is that?
There is a glyph under the cage. We didn't see it from where we were because of the sun. But in his hand, he can control it. The demon closest to the cage can set off a detonation, almost like a fireball underneath them. I cannot dispel the magic. Or I could possibly take it from him, but that would incite a riot. It may be on me faster than I could open the cage. I could remove him from the situation by teleporting him away, but
I could also remove him specifically from the situation, but again, I'd have to be pretty close, and it would only be for a little bit. Might be enough time for you to open the cage, but I don't know how effective of a strategy that would be. You'd have about a minute. Andrak, Aldora, any input?
I would recommend getting rid of him temporarily, just so that there's a chance to either get rid of the glyph or get the monsters away from it.
because once they're outside the cage, sorry, Macy, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was that's about I can't really think of anything else other than we just have to somehow get him away.
Was there any patrols up leading to the corner of the stone structure from the bottom corner?
There were all kinds of people pacing around, right? Yeah.
I'm more or less trying to figure out if it would be easier to sneak in. I could send him away if I'm at the corner of the stone building towards the south. That would be far enough in that my magic would work there.
You know he would be in the sight of 3 different demons.
You would be seen. 'Tis magic.
What do you suggest then?
I mean, I could ask. It is her domain.
Are you talking about consulting Hecate?
Possibly, but there's no guarantee she could help. Or even if she would.
She may find this matter trivial.
I may also not appreciate their use of magic.
What communion you take with your goddess is your business. If you think it will work, then do it. If it doesn't, you should be prepared to do something different.
I'm also genuinely concerned about the other cage. They just had a man and a woman in there by themselves. They were just watching them. It was odd.
I hate to be the obvious one here, but this is labeled on the map as breeders. Sounds like they're trying to breed humans. As disgusting as that sounds. For what? I have no fucking clue. But we're here to stop it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
They may have different motives for why they would do it. We do not know how these creatures are made. Maybe they use humans as a starting point.
Perhaps if we can afford the time here, we'll find some more intelligence. But that needs to be a secondary objective. What can we do, Kiriki? Is there any way that I can help?
Can you hold the flashlight?
If there's a way to subdue the one holding the glyph, I would recommend that course of action as long as it does not get noticed.
A minute of time. I don't know if the creatures would be able to get out within a minute. It would have to be timed perfectly.
You know, if it's our only shot, then perfect timing it shall be.
I mean, Kiriki's staring off towards the cage. It would be nice if my lady would just remove the glyph.
You can ask, but I
Wait.
would recommend going for a second option.
I have a plan, actually. If I can get close enough, I can use. Well, I can keep him from moving. But the
close?
issue is, I'd have to get at least, much closer up.
How close are we talking?
At least within 90 feet.
I thought we were in with oh, aren't we like 100 feet from it?
No, you're 100 feet from the camp itself.
We're 100 feet away from the map.
Yeah.
Like 185 feet away, or 190 feet away.
She'd have to get as close as the building itself.
Yeah, same thing as him.
I can't guarantee I'd be stealthy enough. There's some trees not far away that could help me, but... Wait, no, there's many things that could go wrong.
And this is very much not my preferred strategy, but I'm offering it just in case. If we have to, I can try to be stealthy, as close as I can get. And if I'm made, I will run in, banish the one holding the glyph, and then flee, hopefully drawing their attention towards me. And if that happens, while you're on standby at the gate, Kiriki, you release the cages, or you release the monsters in the cage while their focus is on me. I can escape. I will not be in danger, but I might work as a distraction. Long enough for you to do what you need to do. Honestly, thinking about it, that might be our only choice.
It's been an hour, or has it been an hour?
No,
No? Okay. How long has
20
it been?
minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
Alright. If you are willing to risk yourselves like that, Hiraki will push up the wooden mask and like rub. Nobody can see her, but as she comes out of invisibility, she has smeared the glyph on her forehead. Alright.
So what's the plan now?
As far as I understand it, Malachi is going to try and sneak to the corner of the building down here as close as possible to be within 60 feet range of the one demon that's holding the stone. And if he gets made in between that time, he's just going to try and get to that point, banish it, and then dip. He's just going to leave and hopefully draw their attention to a point where Kiriki can invisibly get to the gate and just open the gate while they're distracted with Malachi. A distraction within a distraction, if you will.
Uh-huh.
Now you're thinking with portals.
So there's just that one guy that's going to be a problem right there.
Yeah,
Probably two guys if you count the gray guy south.
you can dimension door like other people, you said, right?
I can. I was going to say, I was going to keep my dimension door for if my distraction goes horribly wrong and I need to book it out of there ASAP.
Yeah, because I was gonna offer. Well, your guys' thing is probably more preferable, honestly. I was gonna say if you want, like, you could dimension door Aldora to the closest tree, the tree closest, like into the tree closest to the freaking dude, and she would get just enough range to cast Hold Monster. But the issue is, if she needed to do a stealth check and failed, that could go horribly wrong and she's trapped.
Yeah, let's see here if I'm reading this right. Yeah, if he can manage to keep the banishment on that thing for the full minute without getting his concentration broken, then it won't come back. But otherwise, pretty much as soon as he gets either out of range or gets hit hard enough to have a concentration check fail, then that little guy's back with his little bomb trigger. So he's just trying to buy at least like 30 seconds to a minute for Kiriki to get the gate open so that the monsters can get out without getting burned up.
If we time it perfectly, I unlock the gate, you watch as it swings open, and you banish him at that moment. I would just watch for the gate to start opening. I'm sure he's watching it for you would just need a faster reactive time. Or Kiriki is gonna draw her scimitar again and prick her finger, and I didn't roll damage last time, so I'm gonna do that real fast. Alright. Wow, that was a lot of damage.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh well, it's fine. It's the cost of this class. And then
How much damage?
I took 15 points for the first invisibility.
Oh, shit.
So. I rolled a 7 and an 8.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's pricked her finger again, but this time she starts and she'll like smear the blood onto Malachi's forehead.
Oh, what are you?
And then, I took less damage with an additional d4. Or d8. I took another 12 damage, and she rubs the same sigil on her forehead, and they both disappear as she casted it on both of them.
Perfect. Okay. I think we have a plan. We have a time. Let's do it.
Malachi, I just want to say that if this guy south of that position catches you, Malachi is going to die.
The big gray guy down south? This guy? Yeah. It's alright. Malachi has tools at his disposal.
You should probably try to get as close as possible to make sure that you can see the gate.
Absolutely.
Alright. Kiriki is gonna, like, put her hand, like, onto Malachi's shoulder and, like, guide him through.
Okay.
So that they're still together.
So both of you roll stealth checks with advantage, please.
Okay.
Aye, Captain.
The two shiny ones are just hanging back.
Okay.
Whew, good for that advantage.
19.
And dirty 20.
Okay. Malachi, I will say that while she did have dirt on her and everything, she does have a distinct smell about her with all that blood. So if you notice it, if she's real close to something, you think it's going to also.
As we're passing by the body pit, can Malachi reach down and kind of
Splash it on her?
Scoop up some dirty body mud and just kind of wipe it on her back or something?
It's kind of fucked up to not say anything first, but yeah, sure.
I don't think she'd mind.
Yeah, I don't think Malachi gets the impression that she'd give a fuck either, so...
So insanitary.
He just, like, scoops it up with his hand and, like, rubs it, like, since she's holding onto him, he kind of, like, finds her back and just rubs it on, and he's just like, sorry, you stink wrong.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
Kiriki is trying not to laugh because that was funny.
Alright. So you guys move up on the south side of this building, and you see the fiery creature, and you go past it. It doesn't notice you. It's just staring at all these women very intently. You can see its eyes darting around, like it's looking for them to be doing anything that's wrong. You can relate to this a little bit, Malachi. You see the food in there is actually moldy, and it's what they're forced to eat, but most likely they're going to die anyways. Most of them are very skinny. You could see bone protruding from a lot of them through the skin. They look days, if that, away from death, most of them.
Jeez.
You can their skin, it's very pale. You can see they have no real water left in them. No food. But the creatures that are holding them don't speak the same language, so they may not know what the body needs. So you guys move to the south side of this building, and Malachi, you get to the corner here. Do you stop there, or do you want to keep going?
Kiriki's gonna force him to keep going to the wooden cage, so
Oh.
that he has a good view of where she'll be.
So
Okay.
like right at the corner there of the
Yeah,
north corner
like-
of the wooden cage.
I wouldn't say the north corner, the south corner.
South
To
corner,
the
like over here.
to the right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nope.
So Malachi, you can see the two people in there naked, the man and the woman. You see again a couple of the creatures inside the cage stir a little bit as you get close, like they're looking for you, but they don't see anything. And the one that has the stone is just grinning and looking around.
Got it. Time to.
Mhm.
Is there a lock on it?
You don't see a doorknob or a lock of any kind.
It just. There's just a door.
There's just a door, like a bird cage. You can't see through it. There are bars. Do you want to make an investigation check?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's not bad. Could be worse.
Yeah.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So that, with the magic that you know about, you kind of feel around the door a little bit, just very quietly, very slightly, so you don't nudge it or anything or make any noises. You're feeling around it, and you actually feel that there is a hole in the door itself where a doorknob usually would be, but it looks like it is magically covered up to where it looks like it's not there. But your finger just goes right through it, so you can finger the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Can I open the door with that, or do I need the knob?
Do you want to try to pull on the hole?
Is there?
I mean, if
Is
it
it
works,
trapped?
that's our plan, anyways. But
Huh?
Is it trapped?
I don't know. Make a perception check. You don't. Yeah, I didn't see one with your investigation check, but I mean, give it a look.
Perception is bad.
Mhm.
5.
You don't see a trap. No, but that bomb roll, that
Yeah.
fiver.
Yeah.
You try pull.
The doorknob has been removed or magically removed?
You're not sure. There's just a hole that you can feel but not see. But you can, with your finger, like wiggling around inside, feel like mechanics of some kind.
Does it feel like it needs to be opened, or is it just like I could just lift it or like undo it?
You think you can maybe undo it, but you would have to use feeling more than sight.
Got it. I guess I'm gonna try to open the door.
Okay. So you have your finger in there, you make like a little hook with the front of your finger, and gently pull on the door to be quiet.
Mhm.
It seems locked.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to try to unlock it.
Yeah. But
Can I
you
feel-
do see the woman on the other side of the cage. She looks sharply at the door, and her eyes are darting around.
The woman, or is that the harpy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I feel for like a lock, like for a hole, or is it just that one hole?
It's just that one hole.
Can I try to unlock it using
Yeah.
the hole?
Go ahead and roll. Are you
A hole
proficient
check.
with thieves tools?
I am.
So go ahead and roll. Dex plus thieves tools. Your proficiency.
Okay.
What is that for you?
8. So that's a 13.
A 13. So you're fiddling around with it. You hear something and you feel it slightly move inside. But first try, you're unable to get it. But you do see a few of those creatures inside starting to stir. Some of the Hydra's looking around. The Minotaur's looking at the sky. You can see the Griffin kind of looking towards the door. The Harpy has her talons on one of the bars above the door. And she's looking out, and it looks like she's looking at the dirt around you. Like she is aware of maybe what invisibility is. She does not look animalistic like the rest of them. And you know from history that harpies are not beasts.
Got it. I'm gonna
The guy with the stone seems clueless, though.
try again.
Do it. Malachi, what do you know while she does this? It's been a minute.
he's just waiting for that door to open. That's the plan. He's got his eyes locked on the guy with the stone, and he's like got his fingers like it's kind of like doing the quick draw motion, but with like his spell. Like he's prepared his banishment spell, and he's just waiting for that door to open to let it go.
All right. Before you tell me what you rolled, Andrak and Outdoor, what are y'all doing over there?
Andrak's just keeping an eye out on the whole field, making sure nothing surprising, like a strange person, or not person, one of the demons starts patrolling that area, because if one does unexpectedly, that's bad news, but he doesn't know how he'd tell anybody about that, except for Eldora.
Fair enough. Eldora, what are you doing?
Honestly, she'd probably be like just taking like 3 steps, like pacing back and forth a little bit while looking over.
That's fair enough. Have some mushrooms, it'll help you. Alright, Kiriki, what'd you get?
I got a 25.
Oh my god. Wow, you really go all or nothing, huh? Okay. So with a 25, you hear, while you're fiddling around inside this hole you can't see, a slight clicking sound. And you hear the door just barely crack open. It doesn't open, it just cracks open a little bit. And you see all the heads of the creatures inside turn. And you see the one with the stone not notice.
Alright. Kiriki is gonna slowly. I bet this door is gonna be heavy. Kiriki is gonna start slowly opening the door.
It's a little heavy, but you can do it. You hear just the. Like, if you're trying to say sneaky, this is not the way to do it.
Alright.
And you think the
No.
monsters will probably just release themselves anyway.
Yeah, so now it's just. I've opened the door just a smidge. I'm expecting, because harpies are smart, she'll probably get the door the rest of the way, or try to.
Mhm.
I am going to make my way back towards Malachi.
All
And
right.
hopefully he has noticed the door.
Malachi, what's your perception?
My passive?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to offer that I could do a perception check, because his entire goal is to pay attention right now.
I would love for you to do a perception check. What is your what is your perception bonus?
It is... Oh, what is my perception bonus? It's only a 1.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
my passive is only 11, so there's a fairly good chance that this is still better, hopefully. Dice God's willing. Nope, it's a 3.
Ha 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 ha.
That's so fucked up. Fuck
Okay.
you, dice.
So, let me tell you about what you see.
There's a lot going on here. A lot that I'm not really sure you're prepared for. But, you know when I think you will be ready for it? Drum roll. Next week.